Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about Eibach springs and why they weren't for me, and I no longer have them actually. The reason I don't have Eibach springs no more, if you're thinking about getting them, so these are my personal reasons why I don't have them specifically, is because one, I have long tube headers which costed me a fortune, and I did not want to mess them up, and they were already messing up with the Eibach springs because they were so damn low. Don't get me wrong, the stance was beautiful and I liked the way my car looked, but it gave me way too many issues. Before the long tube headers, I still dealt with it, only because well, I wasn't ruining something that costed me a little bit over $2,000, you know. But now I want to take care of them. Although they're already scratched up, I need to get them welded. That way they cover the hole it currently has. But as for the most part, the headers are still okay, and I lifted it up, so that way it's no longer scratched. The Eibach springs might be for you, however, if you're willing to deal with a little bit of scratching from the front of your car. But if you're not, then it might not be for you. Just like me, I didn't like scratching the under, although you can't see it, but it's under my lip and it just damages. I'm gonna show you guys how low my look at how close my long tube headers are to the floor. So it was even worse with the Eibach springs. They were tapping almost every time, and my stance isn't as bad. I still didn't go back to stock because stock is a little way too low for me. I mean, it's too high for me, and I just didn't like that. It looked like a monster truck, and I didn't want to have a monster truck. I have a sports car or muscle car, you know, not a monster truck. I went with 1320 springs from the Scat Pack because it gave my car a pretty good stance, and not only that, but it gives you better weight transfer than the stock and the Eibach spring. And another thing I didn't like about the Eibach springs is that when I went over bumps, it was unfortunately way too bumpy. It felt uncomfortable, and you know, I like driving comfortably, and I'm sure you do too. They're not as great as coilovers, but they're better than the Eibach springs. I mean, they're better than Eibach springs and the stock springs. So yeah, so this is a smoother ride. The 1320 springs, you don't have to go with 1320 springs. If you want a really smooth ride, I would definitely recommend coilovers, but right now all I did was just get the springs itself, because I don't have the money, and coilovers are pretty expensive, but it's a great investment. I definitely recommend. So again, pros on the Eibach springs: great stance, but the corners, cutting corners, is a lot sharper, a lot sharper actually. You don't feel like you have the big boat you actually have, but also it's obviously still heavy and stuff, but it's not as it is with the stock springs. You can take great pictures, and for me, as much as I get it. The cons about the Eibach springs that you bounce way too much, especially after 90 miles per hour. Also, you're gonna be scratching a lot. It's an uncomfortable ride, and those are your trade-offs. So it's up to you at the end of the day which ones you want, and I went with 1320 springs. So no more Eibach for me, and I hope this video was helpful for those who were thinking of getting Eibach springs. And again, I'm not telling you not to, it just depends on what you're gonna use your ride for. So thank you guys.